there, and a very warm welcome to Research Compass 303, a dedicated YouTube channel for research students. I am amazed by the overwhelming response to my latest video on research questions. A big thank you to all the viewers and subscribers. Today I will start this video lecture with lessons learned from the latest video. Research questions are designed to provide insights into queries that are yet to be understood. If you are new to this channel, please remember to subscribe Research Compass 303 and hit the bell icon for notifications about the upcoming videos on research-related topics. In this session, I will be discussing another exciting lesson for research students, which is what topics are suitable for doing research. The best research topics are of interest to you, fascinates you, are significant to the field. They offer a problem solution, can provide answers that can be acted upon, and are supported by your programs of study. So those are the goals, but how do you pick an actual topic? Ideas for research are generated whenever curiosity or passion is aroused. Every day we are surrounded by events, situations, and interactions that make us wonder, stop, and think, or bring joy, frustration, relief, or anger bubbling to the surface. This is the rich and fertile ground from which research ideas are born. Think about what stirs you, what you argue with your friends, family, and peers, and what issues are topical in the world, at home, or in your workplace. You will soon find that research topics are around. Similarly, you can also have a look at conferences, call for papers by different journals, editorials of peer-reviewed journals. They give a lot of ideas about the recent topics. Research topics can come from the following sources: personal insights and experiences, an observation, what's the news right now, stakeholder groups are broad, and it's important to read. So let's have a look at the first point. Firstly, research topics can come from personal insights and experiences. For instance, your workplace. Just about anyone who has ever had a job knows that workplaces are rife with problems. Red tape, inefficiencies, inaptitude, incompetence, corruption, profit before service, morale, attitudes and behaviors, systems and structures, operations, stakeholders, leaders, employees, motivation, etc. Your own frustrations are often tied to the frustrations of many. Tie these to the goals, aims, objectives, and vision of the organization, community, or institution in which they sit. Then there is a good chance those frustrations will have research potential. Secondly, through an observation. Viewing the world through fresh eyes can provide powerful research insights. One of my first research projects was based on personal observation of my first job as an employee in a leading commercial bank. I was shocked by the number of employees reacting to the continuous organizational changes so differently. Some were looking for alternative opportunities to leave the current job, whilst some others were happy to stay. Based on this observation, I decided to investigate why employees behave so differently when they have similar psychological contracts, why some will stay and the others would quit. Thirdly, research topics can come from what's the news right now. What are the problems at work? What's happening in the community? What is the media focused on? The answers to these questions will give you a host of topics. Then you can narrow in further by asking about these topics, that is, how is the media covering this? What is the policy, practice and rhetoric of government on this? And what impact is this having on schoolyard racism? Fourthly, the research topics can come from looking at the stakeholders group, which are broad. Stakeholder groups are broad, as are their needs. They can run from the need for an equitable healthcare system to a need to motivate students to stay in school. Need identification can come from the following media coverage, reading letters to the editors, or listening to the stakeholders at various forums, including town council meetings, workplace meetings, or any other place where stakeholders may gather to express their concerns. Fifthly, the research topics can come from the extensive reading of the relevant and important literature. It's important to read. We never know everything about our topic, and rarely do we know enough. Get abreast of the background, context, controversies, debates, and political agendas surrounding your area of interest. You may find drawn to the exploration of an important aspect of a problem that has been ignored in the literature. You may want to question some of the assumptions that underpin common understandings. You may decide to add a raging debate with an innovative approach. You may want to take up an opportunity to seek evidence for evidence-based decision-making. You may want to take up the challenge of answering further questions posed at the end of a research paper. Finally, some other sources for generating new ideas. Thought modules you are doing on your course. Have you covered a topic that interested you, which you would like to look at in more detail? Has a tutor mentioned a research study that you found interesting, even puzzling, that you feel needs questioning? If you are doing your master's as part of a professional qualification, look in the profession's journal to see what the current issues and concerns are, and if these have a research possibility any. At work, if your research is to be work-based, what are the main issues, developmental needs, and management problems that require some research? Have you listened to a visiting speaker to your department who talked about a project that may have other possibilities? Are you interested in particular phenomena that you cannot find much about in the library? Have you observed a pattern of behavior you found interesting or perplexing and would like to find out more about? What projects or staff working on do these interest you? Research topic generator, that is brainstorming. Now is the time for your turn on generating or initiating ideas for research topics. In this section, you will practice on how to practically generate ideas and what to do next, how to evaluate what you have in mind regarding the potential research model on the constructs. Some of the sample topics: gig workers and side hustlers, advancing organizational behavior research for a modernized employee population. Similarly, you can also look at the power of play in organizations, implications for well-being and work effectiveness. A large percentage of non-recyclable materials in household recycle bins, selected by a frustrated council officer in charge of waste management who was undertaking a higher degree. Violence towards nursing staff in emergency wards, selected by a former nurse undertaking an occupational health and safety postgraduate degree after being forced into a career change by a patient attack. Your turn. So if you have a blackboard, whiteboard, or paper, pencil, you can draw a sketch of your potential constructs that you have in your mind after reading out and finding out different ideas about research. So write down 3 potential topics by listing them 1, 2, and 3. Once you have written down the potential ideas into a list of 3 potential topics, you can move on to the next slide, which will give you evaluation criteria once you have generated your 3 topics. For every research topic, you need to ask these questions yourself. Is the topic of interest to me? Is this a topic of significance? Will research into this topic be useful? Does research into this topic meet the requirements of my degree, program, or course? Similarly, for the second topic, and the same criteria goes, same questions go for the third topic that you have just listed down. By asking these questions, you can simply evaluate the initial ideas or the potential topics that you have listed as potential topics. You can evaluate by yourself. So please remember to subscribe Research Compass 303, which is a dedicated YouTube channel for researchers. You can always reach me out at researchriscom303@gmail.com. So that's all for today. What's coming up in the next video? Moving from a topic to the researchable question is tricky. So stay tuned and follow Research Compass 303. Bye for now.